even dead bodies in cars. So now if you get the sewage and water board where you need to be to make them do their jobs, then we'll all have our problem resolved. That's all I really need to say.
Thank you. Round of applause to me. Anyone else? David Montana.
Chief David Peters, Montana.
Say that on the
That
mic.
guy, Chief David Peters, Montana. That guy there and I was in kindergarten together. He's right. I've been in this neighborhood. I've been in this neighborhood for over 71 years. And let me tell you, it rained. And in the rain, it pours. Where I live at right now at Bell Art Space, it's flooded right now as I speak. And we just had a little rain today. But we got to go through this whole season this year all over again. And if something is not done professionally and right, or these people digging up the streets and all that, they're making it worse. You know, if something is not done, well, we're in for some harder times than we got today. And something needs to be done because it carried diseases, typhoid, malaria, that's coming back. All them different diseases that's left here is in that water, y'all. And please, when it rains like that, don't let the children play in it. Keep them away from it. Because I could tell you so much about it. When it rains off that I-10, that, you know, when you make brakes on a car, every time you brake your car, that's asbestos that leaks out in the windows that was in the Lafitte project. A lot of people in that area died from cancer. Even where the incinerator was, they cut that down, but it's worse. With that thing coming through there like it was, I'm telling you, if you do your history and go back and see how many people died from 1963 to right now in the Lafitte area, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Thank you, Chief David Peters, Montana. Thank you. Russell. Thanks for coming out. I'm getting out with you.
I'm Russell Stone. I've been living in the Treme 76 years. In the last 10 years, I think it has flooded so much that we're gonna never get it done. And the city needs to come out and clean all the catch bases. They come out and they clean the catch, they check the catch bases and look at them, and it says not dirty, and they just throw the top down and go about their business. The city needs to come and clean the catch bases.
Next. That was Russell. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Thanks for coming out. Don't do like I did, 'cause I don't.
My name is Deborah Pleasant. My name is Deborah Pleasant, and I stay in the Treme area. And my concern is medical. I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic for many years. And when that water gets up so high like that, no, my family can't get to me. I cannot get to my car to go and get medical help. And that's a concern about me. And like everyone has said, we have elderly people in my neighborhood, and that's a big, big concern. The ambulance can't get there. And so I'm concerned about that, and I think that something should be done about that because our lives are at stake.
Thank you so much. That was great comments. Yes, I don't know who you are, but thanks for coming out.
Greens family.
Oh, you're the chef.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
You're the business owner. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm good.
You told me you was coming. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, y'all. I'm excited.
Good. My name Joseph Robinson. A lot of people know me as Chef Rayo, so Chef Ra. My own ITEL garden right on 810 North Claiborne. I personally don't stay in the Treme, but I've been in business in the Treme for almost 4 years now. And one thing I can say is that the flooding is one of the reasons why I'm skeptical into investing in the property itself. Currently, when we do open and it does rain, I mean, it floods like to the point where it's like a lake outside. And for me, it's frustrating because I have to close my doors early. It's been times where I had to close my doors multiple times early because customers either can't come in or even get out. You know, I had customers actually stuck inside of the building and can't get out until the water goes down, you know. So I don't know what the issue is fully, But I do know that something has to be done because it's also, stopping people from actually investing and actually growing the area, And I actually love where I'm at. I'm familiar with the history behind it, and I'm happy to be in the space, right? Yet when this rain comes, I gotta always think, should I open the day or should I not? And it's just a regular rain day, It shouldn't have to be that way. So hopefully we can do something about it and, move forward.
Thank you so much for coming. Next. Come on, Sen. 7th Ward.
Hi, y'all. My name is Arsène Delay, and I live in the 7th Ward. Wow. Since 2017, I have dealt with issues like damage to instruments, damage to my car, trying to get from gig to back to my house, as I'm a working musician. And since this is for the DOJ, I really would be interested in you guys investigating why there were canals that were closed, because we need additional spaces for water to go if we are going to continue to up our annual rainfall. I'm also interested in them looking into construction practices, because with all of the new retrofitting of the old houses after removing the majority of the residents from the Treme, I'm really curious to see how much of the debris from those construction retrofits are clogging the drains and those basins. I'm also really curious as to why we do not have a tree line in Treme, one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. I know that we have not recouped the tree line that was lost during Katrina, but there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to have more trees to deal with more of the rainfall and having more permeable spaces. So those are the things that I really hope that you guys look into. I would also be very interested in asking the city why the millage that put money into the coffers and gave and funded the actual cleaning of the basins and the catch basins and all of those things was let to expire in 1992 and has never been redone, and why there are only 40% of the residents in the city who actually put into this fund. Those are the things that I am interested in figuring out, and I would like to have a deeper investigation into.
That's what needed to be said, y'all. Who's next? That's what needed to be said. Linda, no comments? Acceptable?
Come on, Queen. That's my queen, y'all.
Carolina? I need y'all comments.
My name is Setua Mohamed Cool. What do you call it, Treme? Because I live on Esplanade and Miro, which is the new Treme.
The whole city is Treme.
But they said original Treme was supposed to be the Section 6 ward, right? But then the city expanded into Broad and all that. I live one block off of the 6th ward, one block into the 7th ward, right? I've been living there for over 60 years. I live on the ridge, Esplanade Ridge. It doesn't flood on the ridge, right? However, I have noticed in the last 10 years, the riverside floods. I don't know if it's coming from people when the grass comes out. I can't stand those blowers. They're blowing all the leaves and stuff into the thing that should be picking it up. They're not picking it up. But something is clearly happening because we never had flooding before. That's not flooding getting into the homes, but the whole street is flooded. If you want to cross, you got to go all the way to the corner in order to get into a passage to get on the other side. So I'm really concerned about that, because if the ridge is supposed to be a high area and it's starting to flood where all the drains are, and it's only on one side, it's not the other side, it's not Nudie Man's side, it's my side. Nothing happens on Nudie Man's side, right? It's on my side. So I'm concerned about that. So clearly something's going on with the drains. And I live in the 7th ward. 7th ward all day, Treme.
But I'm I'm glad that you mentioned the grass blowers.
Yeah.
The people that cut the grass and then they come out and blow the grass and the grass ends up in the drain. So with that being said, that can be part of the investigation too also, or a policy or a new law. You have to do, all of it has to come
Actually,
together.
they put a screen on the drain.
Okay, you should have said that while you was up
It's a
here.
simple
Next,
thing, just put a screen to
Come-
catch this stuff.
come on, say it.
Go back up, go back
Come
up,
on.
yo.
I'm sorry.
Smile, yo.
Hey, Greg.
And can they put a screen? I mean, it's a simple solution to me. If you put a screen across there, then the Mardi Gras beads won't go in there, the leaves from the oak trees won't go in there, and neither will the trees. So, the grass.
Thanks for part two. Come on, Greg. Call to cleanliness.
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Gregory Swofford. My address is 2620 New York Street. My concern with flooding is connected to our current waste management. That's also an issue here in the city. But sometimes, because of our inconsistent sanitation pickups, residents do leave, bags or trash, or sometimes people may get evicted from their homes, and that kind of stuff sits on the street. And on days like this, when it rains and floods, a lot of that stuff just sits like soaking in the water. And today, like walking out of my building, like the water is it's all above my ankles in a lot of cases. And my son likes to run around outside, and so he should be able to run around outside without me being concerned on what's in this water, because it's flooding and standing for over 8 or 10, 12 hours, however long, and there's trash, and who knows what's sitting in those trash bags. So that's a critical concern of mine. Thank you.
Carolina. It's good to see you.
I love Miss Cheryl. Okay, my name is Carolina Guadalupe. I live in the 7th Ward. I'm originally from New Orleans, but I hadn't lived in the 7th Ward till 2012, so I've been there about 12 years, roughly. And before that, I lived in Mid-City. And I say that because the increase in flooding is something that I have seen from a young child. I remember the 2008 flood, or 2005 flood, flooding's always been an issue. But it has gotten worse, like really scary kind of worse. Where I live on Durbany, and I'm sandwiched around Esplanade, Claiborne, and St. Bernard, right? And even though on my street it doesn't tend to flood, around me it's flooded. So you're basically in an island, right? You can't leave your neighborhood if you have an emergency. And it's scary because I remember one time we had to leave, like we had a gig, so we had to be out somewhere. And I was freaking out the entire time. I was for sure that we were gonna get stuck in that water right there on St. Bernard and Claiborne. Now, ever since y'all put the water well there, it has improved immensely. And I think that all along Claiborne, there's so many opportunities that those type of projects can be created. I know in my neighborhood, right there on the corner of Columbus and Durbany, my landlady owns that property, but she's not doing anything. And I know if she was told that someone would go in there and create some sort of vegetation area and she don't have to pay anything, she might actually say yes. So there's opportunities in all of our neighborhoods. I know, because I walk the neighborhoods, and I hope, because I've seen it in Mid-City somewhere where they were, I don't know what other organization it was, but they created these water swells on every corner. And someone who lives there told me that right after Katrina, she says, is when the flooding got bad. They built those things, I think she said around 2017, and she said the flooding has really been reduced. But they literally have them on every corner. I don't see why we can't do that here in our neighborhood. So I would love for the government to come in and research that and invest in our communities, and especially Claiborne. I think there's just so many opportunities, but there's no investment. And there's people here who really care and would want to make that happen. So thank you for letting me speak.
Hey, Fill out a call. Todd, it floods on your block. Put it on record for me, please.
Hi, my name is Todd. I live on North Robertson Street in the Treme. I certainly haven't lived here as long as most of the people who've spoken, but in the short time I have lived here, we see 3-4 floods a year. I've opened multiple tickets with the city about the catch basin in front of my house, which I know for a fact is clogged with cement from the construction of the house. It would really be great if we could investigate why, even the simple request to clear our catch basins go unanswered. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for coming out. Sure, appreciate it. Okay, don't be shy because our councilman came into the building. How you doing, Mr. King? Tommy, anyone? I don't want to keep you all longer than you need to be here. Come on. But I'm sorry, Ronald. If you don't want to speak on the mic, please fill out the card. Please fill out the comment card. Lower 9, take it.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Duran Duswa, a resident of the Lower 9. One of my chief concerns with flooding is being able to exit our area because it floods in between Bunny Friends and the Lower 9 to where it's unpassable. So cars, 18-wheelers, everyone, if they have to egress to leave, it basically pushes everyone to another direction, which is in St. Bernard Parish, which again floods. So basically we'll be trapped on an island, hoping, praying that we get through. So if the Department of Justice could, check the viability of a lot of the pre-existing great infrastructure that has been known as one of the worst civic projects that has ever been built, to see if that is contributing to our flooding in that area, and which is causing more danger for us as well as the 2 adjoining parishes to be able to egress in a time of danger. That's all I got.
Okay, we have plenty of time. Anyone else? Or do you all want to leave? Yes. Can I turn it up? Not if no one else is going to speak. If you all, come on, Catherine. Catherine, Chris, you can come up after Catherine.
My name is Catherine Prevost. My zip code is 70117. I live inside of the Upper Ninth Ward. We talk about environmental injustice. And this is what we are living in right now, especially inside of our black communities. We have no trees. The storm drains are insufficient. We always constantly flooding and complaining and nobody's doing nothing about it. Why? Is it because of our color? What is it? I would like to know exactly what it is. We have no trees. I can walk on the other side of St. Claude and get real cool. But cross St. Claude going back to Florida Avenue, there's no trees. And we are now planting trees inside of our community, but we find that they're stealing them. Who's stealing them? It's not us. I know that, and the residents can point to them, but it's not us. So they don't want us to have it. We put signs up to let people know who we are. They take those signs because they don't want nobody to know who we are. But we are really environmentally unjust. Speak on it. Don't hesitate. Write it down. Environmentally unjust. And send it to whoever you want to send it to and let them know we don't want this anymore. Give us what we deserve. We pay taxes. We keep our streets clean. But we still are unjust.
Thank you, Catherine. Chris.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Lang. I'm here. I actually don't live in the Treme. When I first moved to New Orleans, that was the first neighborhood that I lived in. I lived in the 7th Ward for 2 years, but I'm originally from California, and I live in the Marigny right now. But one thing that, and tagging off what you were talking about, Greg, with the waste management was coming from California, we always had 3 different bins for our houses. We had a black bin for trash, we had a blue bin for recycling, we had a green bin for landscaping, and for any yard waste. The South, because of the climate, with the rain, with the sun, with the heat, there's just so much vegetation that grows. So it's inevitable that there's gonna be so much leaf, foliage, debris, grass clippings that get out and grow that have to get clipped every week, depending on the season. And just even in the Marigny where I live, right underneath, fortunately underneath the tree, I know that's, I've lived in other places that didn't have tree shading, but the leaf debris that gets in these catch basins is incredible. We try to maintain that every time it rains. But without a receptacle, right, a green bin that's associated for our green vegetated waste, that's something that the city, like in where my mom lives in Redwood City, where my grandparents live in Los Angeles, this is just standard practice that the Department of Sanitation provides for pretty much like all the residents. Having that green bin that we associate with green waste allows us to put all of that debris that would otherwise be clogging the catch basins and kind of, once you get the clippings and they just kind of float everywhere, it gives us space for it, but it also reminds us that this can go back to regenerate soil later on. And we need that soil for new trees, for new green infrastructure developments. The city needs soil for a lot of its projects as well. And that's something that I grew up with. And so it was a surprise not seeing that that's practiced here, given how much vegetation's there and how much risk when you have clogged catch basins and a drainage system that's clogged with mud and cement. These are small steps. I'm not saying that's going to completely solve the problem, but these are little things that, as a system, could make it a little bit more efficient and give more of a chance for reduced flood risk.
Thank you, Chris. Do I need to bring the mic to you all, or have you filled out the comment cards? Hello? Okay, well, with that being said, I would like to acknowledge our elected officials. Representative Alonzo Knox is here tonight, along with our council member for District C, Mr. King. If you all would like to come up and say a few words. The elected official, girl, when that happened. But you was raising your hand. You all can come up and say whatever you like. We're trying to gather information so that we can submit it to the Department of Justice to investigate as to why the continuous flooding is taking place in Treme. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. Well, good evening, everyone. Heard your complaints or your concerns. I've heard your concerns tonight. I received the emails with the concerns. I've even heard from Ms. Austin and other members of the Treme community at a council meeting a couple months ago. So definitely aware of the concerns. I wish I had the answers tonight to tell you why it floods more often in Treme, just more often around the city than it used to. So like every time you get a sprinkle, you get a Nutri-Ground parking advisory, or you get a flood somewhere. But I just want to let you know that whatever DPW, Department of Public Works, needs as far as the budget goes, the council is giving it to them. If it's more workers, if it's more equipment, we're doing that. Not to point the blame or pass the buck, but DPW, that's the department, along with Sewage and Water Board, as you know, pipes and the drainage. So trying to help those departments and agencies get on the right path and the right footing is what I'm, not just me, other council members, and our city elected officials are trying to do. So continue to give us those calls, those emails, and we're going to continue to try to get this problem fixed. So thank y'all for having me tonight.
Thank you, Councilman King. 311 is alive. Whenever you see flooding, I was told you should report it. Dial 311 and give your address as to where the flooding is taking place. Thanks for coming out, Representative Knox.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good evening, everybody. I am State Representative Alonzo Knox. Like most of you, I live in this neighborhood. I actually live in the 1600 block of Dumaine Street, and I know all too well about the repetitive flooding, just like you all do. Sheila's my neighbor, Cheryl's my neighbor. I have about 5 or 6 other neighbors in here, and every year we go through the same thing. And no one can say affirmatively why that is. I've tried to do what I can at the state level to assist the city. As some of you know, we have introduced some legislation to try to address some of the things that we talked about. Councilmember King knows that I'm here to do whatever I can in my capacity to better assist him and the city council to be more responsive and address this issue. I think it's fair to say it's not going to be done overnight, but as long as we continue to meet like this and hear from you, the community, that gives us more ammunition, more information to take back and do the things that we need to do. So thank you all for being here, and please continue this type of meeting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we know that we have 2 elected officials out here. They are aware of our concerns. We do know that it's not going to be resolved, the flooding will not be resolved overnight. But we knew that already because we've been dealing with it for over 20 years. And so this is why we had to come together and put our concerns at the federal level. To our credit, working through WaterWise, we have met with almost every elected official that represents those 6 neighborhoods at various times. In 2023, March of 2023, we had a summit, a bridge building summit, and we expressed to them, not expressed to them, but demonstrated the work that we've been doing in the communities. We know it's not easy to build bridges. We know that all of us are busy. The residents are busy, the community organizations are busy, our elected officials are busy, and flooding make it more busy because we have to address it. We're gonna address it. That's what we're gonna do. Not that we ever stop. We've given our concerns. We've written letters. I could remember in 2018 to the mayor asking for a meeting. We haven't received that meeting yet. And I don't want to call out anyone. What I want to do is just have people understand that your concerns are our concerns. We all are living in this city together. And it's important that we address this. So many of you all are a part of the culture. There will be no culture if it keeps flooding like this because the city is going to go under. We need to know. We need to first identify what the real issues are, where there's litter, where there's broken pipes, broken pumps, whatever. You know, I'm too old to be even going through this right now. And it frightens me to know that if I was to get ill and it's raining, I may not be able to get to where I need to go. And so it is like an emergency for me because I'm an old lady now. I'm not the same person I was 30 years ago. And to be faced with this issue because residents have brought it to me like if I have ignored it. And I'm thinking I'm helping to solve it by posting it on Facebook. That's not enough. It's just not enough. And so if you put the slide back on, If you feel more comfortable sending it directly to the Department of Justice, you can say whatever you want to them. This is the information right here. It's OEJ at usdoj.gov. OEJ at usdoj.gov. And their website is www.justice.gov/OEJ, the Office of Environmental Justice. And that's what we're seeking, justice. Okay? The mic is still open. If anyone has anything else to say, can you please give your cause to Ms. Renata? Renata, you coming to speak? Yes, because, you know, you have sandbags behind the door at your house.
Hi, my name is Renata Young, and I've been living in the Treme area all my life, from Barracks to St. Claude, and I'm on Robinson. I bought my house in 1992. The very first flood I remember was in 1996 when I had to replace all my wood floors. And it just seems to keep going on and on. It actually is getting worse because I've had the green infrastructure projects done on my property. And at first it was working the Premier pavers, you know, but now it don't even seem like it's there. That's how much it's flooding. It's flooding so fast, and it's sitting there. And I have to live with sandbags behind my front door so the water don't rise and water get pushed in with all the cars flying in. So I have to keep those sandbags there. So that means if it really gets bad out there, I'm trapped in my own house. Trapped. And went to all these meetings. They won't allow you to raise the property. It has to stay at the original height. So I have to keep replacing my floors. You know, and it is bad because I actually even had, maybe a couple of years ago, a family from California. They didn't even know where they were. All turned around, stalled in front of my house. They didn't know what to do. They had a baby in a car seat in the back. And the water was so high, they couldn't open the doors. They had to roll the windows down and climb out. They didn't even know where they were. I invited them in my house. They stayed there for 24 hours because the water just stayed. And they didn't even know where they were. And it was at an Airbnb. I mean, but it's sad. It doesn't just affect the community. It affects the tourists. It affects everybody. And this is not just about Treme. It's about the whole city. We have to get them to do something about it. And we have to keep doing this as often as possible. And we have to stay together. Don't just talk about it. Let's get together and do something about it. I love where I live. I would never leave Treme. But we're being forced out by the water and the trash that we all are contributing to. Inadvertently, not thinking about it. Cigarette butt, wrap on the paper, it all gets flushed down the same way. People throwing a whole box of crawfish out their window while they drive. Come on, people. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to be told you're going to be fined for throwing trash out the car. When you cut your grass, pick it up. do not blow your grass in front of somebody else's door. Don't need to sit in the street where then it clogs up the drains. We have to get together. We have to. Thank you.
Thank you, Renata. She's been on this journey with me for years. Yes, come on, Morgan. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on. Let Morgan sit right there. Let her. She was there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Beverly Sweeney, and my zip code is 70119. I just wanted to highlight. Last week we had a hard rain, and it's apparent we have a drainage problem. But when they highlighted Metairie on the news, and they talked about this place around Sells, I think it's Sells Snowball Stand, and they asked the resident about how fast the water had flooded in that area. And she said, even though it flooded real bad because, of the rain, you cannot stop the rain and the volume. She said, but as soon as the rain stopped, the water drained out. And I think that's part of our problem. The water don't drain out. It just sits there, which makes it inconvenient and which give us property damage. So that's what I wanted. They could look into why Metairie, they get the same amount of rain and volume that we get, but they drain out quicker and faster in less than an hour, as well why we continuously have to be flooded in our neighborhood, confined in our residence till the next day sometime before the water goes out.
Thank you, Beverly.
Uh-oh, Morgan.
Morgan. I want to say Shirley. It's Beverly. Her name is Beverly. Beverly. Beverly, yeah. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, City of
I know, right? Hey, how y'all doing?
It's on. You just have to turn. This is for me.
Gotcha. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Morgan, and I'm a little late. One of the reasons I'm late is because I got stuck in some water. Right? We had a lot of water today. I grew up in this area in Tremaine, the 6th Ward. I live in the 7th Ward right now. In fact, Beverly's my neighbor. One of the things that we've seen since Katrina, if this hasn't been covered already, we've seen projects, infrastructure projects, drainage projects, street projects that are supposed to help. And what we see now is streets that never used to flood, they flood. And particularly when you look at Claiborne, right around here, you're looking at side streets that never used to flood, that flood. When you look at Robertson and Esplanade by Little Dizzy's, that's crazy. Every moment, every little rain shower, she's losing business because people can't walk into her business. They can't even get to her business. So it is really affecting the quality of life for residents, businesses, everybody. What's really significant is there was a media release recently talking about New Orleans is number 2 in the nation, next to New York, of the billions of dollars of infrastructure money that has come through. So I think it's all up to us to say, where's that money going? How's it being spent? How are the DPW, Department of Public Works projects tying in with Sewage and Water Board? And why are streets that used to not flood, flood? And why does the water not go down? I mean, we have a street in our neighborhood, Castiglione, that has no drains whatsoever. Not a one. And we know that the storm drain situation, the administration is way behind in terms of cleaning those storm drains. So I appreciate y'all for doing this meeting, and we need to keep doing it, and whatever I can do to help, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Okay. This is going to be the last call. I think I had gave my good night speech. already. I do invite you all to take a closer look at the photos, though. We wanted to demonstrate just how bad the area is at North Robinson and Dumaine Street. And these photos have appeared on Facebook and been reproduced and sent out more than once. And like I said, this is from 2016. And the last 4 photos is of flooding over a 5-month period from December to April. I didn't catch the one last month at Lil Dizzy's at Esplanade and North Robinson. I was hoping that they'd come out tonight, but they're not here. Jeff, you have any last words? Come on up. This is my partner here. He the one got me involved with all of this and made me right.
Well, since this is being submitted to the DOJ, I think it's also important to mention the bad development that's happened in this neighborhood, and that's a witness to the flooding. So Louis Armstrong Park is mostly paved on the backside of Treme. It's higher than the neighborhood, so that water goes to the lowest point, which is this area. And then there's Claiborne and I-10, which was also bad development that destroyed, as we know, the line of oak trees, more concrete, elevated, all that water runs off as well towards this direction. So I think both of those 2 pieces of development are also something the DOJ should investigate as a reason for the flooding in this region.
Jeff never forgets Armstrong Park. Since the first week I met him, he investigated that site over there. And as a matter of fact, I think it was in 2016 or 17, he submitted a proposal to the Coca-Cola Foundation called the flow, where the water flows in. We wanted it to flow out, but also so that people, tourists and neighborhood people, can flow in and out the park and through the neighborhood. And I'm forever grateful to Jeff, Dr. Chalk, for introducing me to Jeff, because it was through her project she was doing that I met Jeff and said, we need to do that in Treme. But my mindset was all about beautification, and it has taken me so much more deeper into what we all need to be doing to reduce flooding in our neighborhoods and how it can be effective. What you pointing at? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Mary. Okay, because, I talk like Dr. Chalk. I can go on and on. I'm ready to go. Let me just say this. It's been a successful night, and I'm so happy you all came out tonight. Tell me what God won't do when you believe in Him and the issues are that important. And I always say whenever it's raining and I have to go out, I'm being blessed. So thank you, Lord.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Davis. I live at 1600 Dumaine Street. And I'm going to say something that some of everybody said tonight. First started with Cheryl. When after a flood, I look outside, Cheryl up to her knees taking pictures. I said, what's the matter with her? I said, Cheryl, what are you doing? She said, I'm taking pictures. I said, okay. And as Renata said, it's everybody's problem. Just a few days ago, I was leaving off Jefferson Highway. I was wondering if to take Carrollton or go Claiborne. Try not to do Claiborne because we have about 4 or 5 lights out there. And people drive like they're crazy, wet or dry. So I took Carrollton Avenue. And a lady on the side of the road waving her arms, telling everybody, you cannot go under there because it's flooded. So I stayed there a little while, and not long the policeman came and put up barricades. He said, don't worry about nothing, we're gonna get everybody out here, we're gonna turn around and take I-10. So I'm saying to myself, as I'm driving, you got me out of this situation, what happened when I get to Dumaine? Who's gonna help me then? So that's what I have to say. This flooding is very bad, and it's getting worse. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Main Street resident. Come on, 2 more. Sorry. I think we're gonna get our design.
Okay, one more thing. When it floods, all the trash cans come down. North Robinson, do Main Street. There's a little can outside of my house right now. I don't know who it belonged to. Trash everywhere. I have to get out there and do my own work. One time, it had a terrible flood of palm tree, because my fence catches everything. I have to clean that up. And it's a very, very, very bad situation.
Thank you, Mary, again. Hi, Jason. Hello, Mr. Terry Clay, my board president. How you doing tonight? I'm so happy to see you out. Now, you have anything you want to say? If that's it, we can say once again, thanks everyone for coming out tonight.